See, I was right to wait to do this video. Bunch of trades have just happened in the NBA. First things first, a couple days ago we've seen Damian Lillard get traded to the Milwaukee Bucks. Honestly, one of the biggest trades of all time. Genuinely, one of the biggest trades we've ever seen. A player who was All-NBA first team, I think, last year. First or second team, I think it was Luke and Shea. So second team, All-NBA second team last year. Or maybe even third, whatever. He was still a 32 points per game scorer, and he's now joining a 32 or 31 points per game scorer in Giannis Antetokounmpo. And this is something that's shaken up the NBA, and we thought, oh, the Bucks, the clear favourites now, they have an unstoppable pick and roll. Crazy. And the Celtics today have traded for Jrue Holiday. Jrue Holiday was traded in that Damian Lillard trade to the Blazers. And now the Celtics have traded for Jrue Holiday for Malcolm Brogdon and Robert Williams and a first round pick. So now we've got to ask ourselves, who is the best team in the East? I don't know. I've got no clue. Ask me before these trades took place, I would have told you the Celtics are the best team in the East. I feel like they've really built a well-structured team. I feel like the loss of Marcus Smart may hurt them a little bit, but I feel like a Kristaps Porzingis fit next to a player like Jason Tatum would fit tremendously well. But since then, we saw the Bucks trade for Damian Lillard, and we need to take a look at that specific trade first. So the Bucks traded away some role players, Jrue Holiday, Grayson Allen, I think, and Kamara with the 3 players, and 2 first round picks and a pick swap, I think, for Damian Lillard, which isn't too much if you're thinking about it in the grand scheme of things, but still that's an okay return, I'd say. I think I'd be satisfied with that return if I was the Blazers fan, because you can then, like as you can see, trade and flip Jrue Holiday. But the players the Bucks gave up weren't that important, other than Jrue Holiday, which you in turn you're getting Damian Lillard back, which is a better player. And now you have genuinely one of the greatest pick and rolls of all time. I can't think of a better pick and roll. What's a good pick and roll? You know, you've got John Stockton and Karl Malone. You've got Amari Stoudemire and Steve Nash. And now I think another one that goes up there with it is Damian Lillard and Giannis Antetokounmpo. You've got a player that can dominate the 4-point range, let alone just the 3-point range. And when you're having to double a player like Damian Lillard, you can't double him because you've got Giannis in the paint who can dominate the post and the paint tremendously. So how do you guard it? I've got no idea. Another one I forgot to say, Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic, tremendous pick and roll. So now we've got to see how the Bucks turn up next season, with their starting 5 being Damian Lillard, Pat Connaughton probably, Chris Middleton, Giannis Antetokounmpo and Brook Lopez. You have a DPOY candidate there, you have an MVP and DPOY candidate, you have an All-Star, you have Pat Connaughton, and you have an All-NBA player. That is ridiculous. And then so today, Celtics have traded for Jrue Holiday in exchange for Malcolm Brogdon, Robert Williams the 3rd, and the first round pick. That for me is really good for the Blazers first and foremost, because there was no point keeping Jrue Holiday. He needs to play for a contender. But I think that's a really good player. Gives them that defense that they lost when trading away Marcus Smart in the backcourt. And now Malcolm Brogdon, who didn't want to be there, is now gone somewhere. I hear that Malcolm Brogdon's going to go to the Houston Rockets. That's what I heard from a birdie. If that actually happens, you know where you heard it first. But ridiculous. And now you look at their starting 5, and it's probably going to be, let's bench Derek Williams for a bit. Apologies, I really like you, Derek Williams, but I'm going to have to bench you. We have Jrue Holiday, we have Jaylen Brown, we have Jason Tatum, we have Al Horford, and we have Kristaps Porzingis. That's an all-star in Porzingis. That's Al Horford. He used to be an all-star, to be fair to him. That's all-NBA MVP candidate Jason Tatum. That's an all-star in Jaylen Brown. And that's an all-star in Jrue Holiday. That is a phenomenal 5. And when you compare the 5 of the Bucks and the 5 of the Celtics, I don't know who wins. So here, before anyone else does, I'm going to predict who comes out of the Eastern Conference. In my prediction, I believe the team to come out of the Eastern Conference is the Boston Celtics. I just feel like the Giannis Dame thing might take some getting used to for Dame. He hasn't really had such a dominant player in the paint. You know, Dame can still finish inside the lane, but Giannis isn't going to shoot. Do you know what I mean? So it's a bit of a differentiator, whereas Yusuf Nurkic is happy to sit back and shoot a corner three. So he's going to have to get used to that dynamic, and I feel like the Celtics have a core that understand each other perfectly right now. And adding in players like Kristaps Porzingis, who had an elite season last year, and Jrue Holiday, who's an elite perimeter defender, can only complement their initial core. I think the loss of Robert Williams might help them a little bit, but I mean, Al Horford's still an elite defender in the paint, and they just signed, I can't remember who, but they just signed someone, and I saw it. I'll put it up if I can see it. Anyways, let me know who you think will win the Eastern Conference. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you, man, in a bit.